The person with the first human case of Triple E in New York State since 2015 has died. That's according to the governor's office. The case was confirmed in Ulster County on September 20th. The state health department has now issued a declaration of imminent threat to the public for the virus. The declaration allows for the state to offer more resources to help prevent Triple E, which includes ongoing mosquito spraying efforts. State parks will now offer mosquito repellent to visitors in the DEC, as posting signs around campgrounds and other state lands to raise awareness about the virus. The office also shared some precautions to take that would reduce the risk of Triple E infection and other mosquito-borne illnesses. Consider wearing long sleeves and tucking your pants into socks and shirts when you are going to be outside at dusk or dawn. That's when mosquitoes are most active. Using insect repellents that contain DEET, but also being careful is spraying on children. Make sure that there are screens in the windows and doors of the home. Also make sure the screens don't have any rips, tears, or holes. Get rid of any and all standing water in your yards and around your property. Mosquitoes thrive in water and can breed easily. This can include water that's piled up in plastic containers like your trash can or on top of pool covers.